Namaste everybody, myself Amul Shrestha from Hetauda, an MPhil scholar of Nepal Open University studying in second semester. Today, I'm here to do video presentation as an assignment of translation studies on the essay entitled Concepts of Cultural Translation in British Social Anthropology by Talal Asad. In this second slide, I'm going to shortly discuss about the biography of Talal Asad. Asad was born in April 1932 in Medina, Saudi Arabia. He is a distinguished professor of anthropology at the City University of New York, which is shortly called CUNY Graduate Center. His publications are Genealogies of Religion, Discipline, and Reasons of Power in Christianity and Islam, which is published in 1993. The second publication is Formations of the Secular Christianity, Islam, Modernity, which is published in 2003. In this third slide, I have entitled it as discussing on the essay Who and What. Who refers to who is going to deal with this portion of essay, and what refers to which part. I myself am going to present the first half of the essay, dealing with background of the essay and the inequality of language. And my co-presenter, Mr. Arjun Prasad Tiwari from Bardia, has discussed on the rest of the portion of the essay. They are reading other cultures, conclusion. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about the background of the essay. The essay, The Concept of Cultural Translation in British Social Anthropology, is reprinted by Asad, having the motto of reminding his readers that the phrase, the translation of cultures, as a banal description of the distinctive tasks of social anthropology. It means in the study of social anthropology, the term cultural translation is widely used. To support his concept of cultural translation, he incorporates the quotation and comment of British anthropologist Godfrey Linhart and Edmund Leach respectively. In their work, the core issue is translating a source language into target language requires a heavy deal of synchronization between them. One, to dive into it and feel it. In this slide, I have entitled it as Concepts and Society by Ernest Gellner. In this paper, Gellner's basic argument is contemporary anthropologists insist on interpreting exotic concepts and beliefs within a social context, but that in doing so, they ensure that apparently absurd or incoherent assertions are always given an acceptable meaning, and that while the contextual method of interpretation is in principle valid, the excessive charity that usually goes with it is not. It means in the study of social anthropology, the term cultural translation is widely used. Using the phrase new thought language, Gellner wishes that there would be thought language that could bridge between SL and TL, generating the equivalence. But At the same time, Gellner prohibits the translator to be the guilty of charity instead of maintaining critical distance. It means such translation may misguide the readers. If the translators get overwhelmed by his own knowledge, then the original meaning of the text may be distorted. To recapitulate the whole essay, Assad's main focus is on the topic of cultural translation. He assumes translation as a matter of learning to live another form of life and to speak another kind of language. Assad concludes his detailed analysis of Gellner article by explaining an anthropologist, while translating from other cultures, must look for coherence in discourse. It means, while translating language, culture too gets translated because language is a very vital part of the culture. While translating any text, there must be the coherence in between the languages. Knowing the social values of the source language. Assad dissects the whole essay in two major issues. The first one, the inequality of languages, and the second one is reading other cultures. This slide has been entitled as the inequality of languages. As per detailed discussion on unequal languages, Assad adds, a good translation seeks to reproduce the structure of an alien discourse within the translator's own language. Coherence reproduced will depend on the genre concerned: poetry, scientific analysis, and narrative. All successful translation is premised on the fact that it is addressed within a specific language. The further that form of life is from the original, the less mechanical is the reproduction. The above statement can be summarized as, the translation that we make from the source language, it should intact with the originality rather than the focus on reproduction. The job of reproduction is a mechanical one, but extracting the real meaning from the source is the original task of any translator or any anthropologist. Walter Benjamin says, the language of translation must give voice to the intentio of the original, not as reproduction, but as harmony, as a supplement to the language in which it expresses itself as its own kind of intentio. A translator, while translating from remote language from his own, he should take reference of image and tone converse. The line here means is that while translating any text to the target language, the translator should give a lot of attention to the tone and tone coverage, image and tone coverage, so as to extract the real meaning of the text. It is widely accepted that the third world languages are weaker in relation to Western languages, particularly English. Here the third world languages means the languages belonging to the least developed nation, and the Western languages mean the languages spoken by the capitalist nations which is economically very powerful, and these Western languages can easily hegemonize the third world languages because of its wider influence. Translators are likely to submit to forcible transformation in the translations process, since Western languages produce and deploy desired knowledge more readily than third world languages, and Western nations can manipulate third world countries with greater ability, creating issues of politico-economic aspects. Let's learn the fact of modern Arabia as example as given in this essay. Since the early 19th century, there has been a growing volume of material translated from European languages, especially French and English, into Arabic in the domain of science, social science, philosophy, etc. Such growth brings a transformation in lexical, grammatical, and semantic aspects. Such transformation signal inequalities in the power. In this case, we can talk about the language of Nepali. In terms of Nepali language, if somebody wants to translate other language into Nepali language, the translator may not find the rich vocabulary and rich sources. This can also be said the inequalities in the power. Whereas if somebody tries to translate into English language or English to other languages, then it is very convenient and cozy because of greater availability of the resources. So this can be termed as inequality in the languages. Industrial capitalism transforms not only modes of production but also kinds of knowledge and styles of life in the third world, and with them forms of language. The half-transformed styles and unskillful Western translator may create ambiguities and may simplify in the direction of his own strong language. Thank you, and expecting creative suggestion.